Hello everybody, John Craig here with Performance Plus Tennis. Welcome to today's video where we're going to take a close look at the serve of Jakub Mensik, who just won the Miami Masters, the second leg in the Sunshine Double here in the United States. And certainly his serve was a big part of his success down in Miami. But before we get started, I want to just give a big shout out to Slow Mo Tennis for providing this video today. Yes, I was in Indian Wells, but didn't see Jakub when I was out there. Check out Slow Mo Tennis. They've got a great channel here on YouTube with a lot of content you can check out that'll help your game as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start right from the beginning here. And one thing I noticed about Jakub is even when he's practicing, he doesn't cut any corners. He makes every serve feel like he's playing in a match. Starting with his setup with his feet and his routine here. You can see it. Nice setup. And what I love about this, of course, he's got his weight distinctly forward. We can see that. He's leaning forward. This is his style. This helps him get into a flowing and rhythm. But I think the key technical element that I like here is the angle of the racket. You can see that he's got a nice angle here on the racket. We zoom in. You can see the racket's turned up at a 45-degree angle. Now, he's not doing that by turning his wrist. He just has what I call a strong continental grip. So he's a little bit past continental. So if he were to look down at his racket right now, he can actually look at the strings that are actually going to contact the ball. The side of the strings that are going to contact the ball are visible to him. And why is this important? Because when he enters into his serve, the racket is going to be much more inclined to stay closed and avoid that waiter's tray position that we struggle with at the recreational level. So if you have trouble with your waiter's tray position and laying your wrist back, start in this type of a position and develop your serve from here. Okay, so here he goes. He's going to get into a serve now. He's going to shift back. And he's going to stay back while his tossing arm rises. And now he's going to release the ball. And now once the ball's gone, that's when he'll bring his back foot up. And that's what I definitely recommend. If you're a pinpoint server and you're having trouble with your ball placement, leave the back foot alone until the ball's gone. And then let the left arm rise and then kind of draw you into this position like this. And now he's loading in and he's in his trophy position. From here, he's actually going to start his swing. And this is a little different than a lot of recreational players because recreational players have been trained and coached to make a racket drop and make a swing. So oftentimes we will see rec players with their racket already behind their head or over here. And that just eliminates the lag in your swing that you want to create that allows for natural, easy power when your swing catches up to your body. But he's got a beautiful trophy position here. You know, one of the coaches online was talking about, was talking about the fact that his tossing arm tends to go more forward than a lot of players. And yeah, it does. It tends to be a little bit more forward. A lot of players are going out towards the net post. Some are going parallel to the baseline, yes. But if we take a look at this original line here, and we compare that line to the line he's going to hit the ball on, this is 90 degrees. So he's past 45. So he's getting adequate angle in his tossing arm. And you'll see that when he gets into his trophy position, it allows him to get into a position where his shoulders are angled beyond parallel to his, perpendicular to his target line. So his shoulder angle is more than adequate to create plenty of power, which we know he's got a great powerful serve. So shoulder position is excellent here. And here he comes. He's going to pull that left hand away. Racket's going to fall and rise. And the timing here is really important, guys. I'm working with a lot of students to get this timing right. The left arm is going to pull and the legs are going to drive. And that is what's going to trigger the swing to take its course. So he's not going to try to force the swing. It's just going to go up and around and through, and it's just going to follow his body. So you can see that if we just take his angle here and he starts to rotate out of that angle, the racket's just going to fall behind him and come up. And he's not trying to make that swing. It's just literally a throwing motion that's attached to his body, which is creating the power. Okay, let's get to contact now. This is another key thing that's really important. We hear a lot of different things in the coaching world about contacting the ball at 1 o'clock and all this stuff. So 1 o'clock is literally like that, isn't it? And 2 o'clock would be like that, and 3 o'clock is like that. So is he at 1 o'clock? I don't think so. He's really at 12 o'clock, isn't he? And the contact point is inside the shoulder here, and that allows him to create this active pronation. Look at the active pronation into contact and through. See that? That can't happen if your contact point is out here in la-la land somewhere. You can't really rotate that way. So his contact point is perfect. Now, I going to mark his contact point in his ball right there. I'm going to mark it. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because Novak had a lot of trouble reading his serve in the final. He mentioned because he couldn't read it, right? So I'm going to mark that again. Get a good marker right where that ball is. And what we're going to do is we're going to examine that ball placement. And what we're going to do, though, is we're going to go back because I want to compare serves. So when he gets into his trophy position here and he's ready to play it, there are his feet. So now we can measure up his feet relative to his contact point on this particular serve right there. Perfect. And now we're going to go to his next serve and take a look at his next one. And his feet are going to be in a slightly different position because he played the point and now he's going to play his serve again. So here we go, coming in, and his feet are almost the same position. Let's see where the toss is. Oh my, how good is that? How good is that? It's literally in the same spot. I mean, maybe it's an inch to the left or to the right. Maybe, but really, really good. Okay, so let's go again. Now this is another serve down the tee. The next serve he's hitting, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a wide serve. So let's take a look at this one. Now his feet are going to be in a little bit of a different position here. So it's important that we mark this position so that the toss is relative to his feet. So I'm going to put another mark here. And we can see he's a little further to the right on this particular serve. And he's going to come up and play it. Let's just see where the ball is. Wow. Look at that. Look at the difference between the space in those two lines. Crazy, huh? The space between these two lines and these two lines. Literally the same. So even though he's going out wide with this ball, which he did, he went out wide with it, you would never be able to detect it based on where he placed the ball relative to his body. So what is the value in that? Well, certainly, it's clearly that you can disguise your serve. The difficulty is you've got to work on your accuracy with a ball placement that's nearly identical, and you got to get skillful enough so you can make an identical toss every time. But that's a really great lesson for players to learn and understand, is that the more you can get that ball in the same place every time, the better you're going to serve. So let's take a look here again from the side. Racket's in that nice angle we talked about, which I love, that position. Rocking back, you can, gosh, look at his weight is entirely on his front foot. His back foot is entirely, completely off the ground. Look at that. Not uncommon. And then he's going to rock back, make that very distinctive rock back. Arms follow him back, leading with that left arm. Look where his left arm is rising to the release point while his swinging arm is trailing behind. And now notice how the racket stays alongside of him and is literally, I'm giving you a lot of details here today, guys, but notice how his racket's pointing out to the right and the strings or the racket tip is not pointing straight back. This is a much better position as well to avoid the waiter's tray, because once you rotate the racket or point the racket tip, say, to the back, you're much more inclined to roll over and open the racket face so the racket face is facing the sky. So this is a much better position to be in. And now he loads in. Beautiful stretch position. Look at that angle he's in. Beautiful angle. Love that angle he's in. And watch how he's going to reverse that angle. And here's another key thing. I'm giving you a lot of great tips today. Notice how his head is tilted away. It's out of the way. And that's so important because when he comes around, you're going to see how his head's out of the way so that he can get his right shoulder up. Look at that. Look where his head is at contact. You see a lot of rec players who literally have their head in the way of their shoulder rotation. And now you can see that he rotated his shoulders literally 180 degrees. So the degree to which his left shoulder was up here is the same degree to which his right shoulder gets up here. Okay. Another key thing that I talk about here is the sequencing and how that left arm is really the catalyst along with the leg drive to get the swing to fall and rise. And then he's rising up the whole time. Let's take a look at this. This is another key piece. The racket's at its lowest point here, and look how the left hand for him is almost at the same level as the bottom of the racket. So if you have a coach telling you to keep your tossing arm up, you're probably getting bad advice. You've got to get the tossing arm up to create the position, but then you've got to use the tossing arm to pull you around and hold as you come into contact. And there he is at contact, and we can clearly see his left hand is visible on the right side of his body, holding his balance and stopping his body. So it's rotating abruptly through the left arm pull and the leg drive, and then the left hand comes in and locks in and holds as he plays through contact. And there's your beautiful pronation. Look at the racket strings pointing out to the right. You know, I find it fascinating. I actually had a bit of a communication on my channel today with a former top 10 player who was kind of giving me a hard time about pronation and almost de-emphasizing it, especially at the rec level. But if you don't understand this movement and how the grip complements this movement, how are you ever going to get the skill? So you have to know what the racket's going to do. So we can clearly see it's attacking the ball on edge. We're going to see that. It looks like it's going to cut the ball in half right here. It looks like it's going to cut the ball in half, and then it turns in, and that momentum turns it over. I can't help but know that the players are doing this deliberately. You can't get your racket in this position without it being deliberate. There's just no way. So pronation is a key component. Okay, a lot of content in here today. What I'm going to look at next is I'm going to look at his ball toss height. And I'm going to see if I can get a measurement here for you because, you know, it looks like his ball doesn't drop very much. And if we go back here to the beginning and watch, you can see the ball leaves the frame and comes down. And we're going to go take a look at that and see if we can advance through here and see where his ball goes. Okay, so his ball is leaving the frame here. It's out of the frame. It's gone. And we're going to come back and make contact. And we're going to get right here to contact. And there it is, right at that level. So we're going to put a mark here. And then we're going to put a mark here at the bottom of his handle. And we're going to put a mark there. So we know that that's about 27 inches. And we know that the difference between the red line and the top of the frame is probably realistically 10 inches, 8 to 10 inches. But the ball was gone. Look how long the ball's gone for. So I'm going to tell you that his ball toss is 24 inches. Again, it's 24 inches above contact. Even though it happens very quickly, he's getting his ball 24 inches above the contact for sure. Let's see if we can get an angle here. Can't really pick it up on any of these videos. Maybe this one. Let's take a look at this one. Ah, beautiful. Let's take a look at this one. So here we go. And we're going to mark it. I'm almost marked it. There we go. And let's mark it again. Amazing, huh? Okay, I think I've made my point here. The difference between these two lines, the distance between these two lines, for sure, is longer than the racket. So the racket lines here, let's put the lines here. I have to emphasize this, you guys, because there's a lot of arguments amongst coaches how much, you know, these players are placing the ball up. And there's a lot of comments and questions and arguments about, oh, they hit it at the apex, they hit the apex. Okay, he is not hitting the ball at the apex. Okay, now when we go back and play this serve, and we play this serve in regular speed, you tell me. It looks like it hardly drops at all, but it is dropping. Okay, so lots of detail here. Let's wrap it up and let's talk about it. What I want you to focus on is making sure that you start every serve with a meaningful setup. That means check your feet, check your grip, get into a position where you can create rhythm through your routine. Try this. Try to get your racket on this angle. Make sure that you rock back and get your weight stable on the back leg while your tossing arm is rising, and let the rise of your left arm lead you into the balanced trophy position where you get into a nice, comfortable angle. And then let your leg drive and your left arm trigger the swing. Let the swing naturally follow. You don't need to try and create a swing. It will happen by itself. Try to place the ball in a very similar location every single time. Try to get that toss so it's above you, inside the shoulder. Also notice really quick that the racket's on a little bit of an angle here. We do not want the racket to extend straight over the arm because that puts you into a weak position. And then after that, just make sure your left hand is holding and tucking, holding you. Come down with balance and get ready for the return. And we take a look at it again here, working on placing the ball in the identical position every single time. Let's take a look at his rhythm here. Get into this nice trophy position. This is usually where everything goes wrong, right here for most rec players, right here. I call this the fork in the road with my students. If the ball is in the right area and you've got the right balance, the second half of the serve can just fall into place. It's usually the balance or the ball placement, and certainly the ball placement disrupts the balance. That is the big issue here. Okay, So I hope this is helpful for you in the development of your serve. Please leave your comments in the section down below and questions. I'll answer your questions as well. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. We've got a lot more coming here at Performance Plus Tennis. Thanks so much for watching today's lesson, and we'll see you in the next video.